My name's Kim Abel, and one day I randomly woke up with a lower back pain, so put a heating pad on it, an ice pack, and just kept getting worse. It got so bad that I had to go to the ER. Went to the ER and sent me home with meds, and the pain just kept getting worse and my feet started going numb. A couple days later, the numbing was up almost to my waist, and so I went back to see Dr. Gray at St. Anthony Healthplex, and she saw how much worse I'd got. So she started running tests, did a spinal tap, a CT scan, because I had fallen in the shower because I had no feeling in my legs to make sure I didn't have any brain tumor or something. And I was called the neurologist down at St. Anthony downtown. Dr. Zubair told him my symptoms, and he said that sounded like a rare disease called Guillain-Barré syndrome, to get her down here immediately and start treatments. That way it doesn't keep spreading. I was rushed to St. Anthony downtown. I was taken really good care of by the nurses down there and treated really well. They caught it just in time to where I wasn't on a ventilator or anything.
Well, when Kim was admitted to the rehab center here at St. Anthony Hospital, she was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré. And it's a condition of a paralysis that rises up the body much like the water rises with the tide. She experienced paralysis that came from her feet and worked up until it was to the top of her head.
I couldn't walk at all, was in a wheelchair, and I couldn't even move from my wheelchair to the bed. I had to get transferred.
Kim could not even sit up really without support and was very much like an infant. When Kim started out with us, she was afraid. And her parents were here and they were afraid.
I'm sure my parents were very worried about me, but they didn't show it at the time because they were just trying to be there for me, which they were there with me every single night.
Before this all happened, she was a very active young woman, and like a lot of young people, was not accustomed to being sick. But she was still a fighter, and we used that spirit and that energy to get her back up and back going.
Bill was one of the very first PTs that came and talked to me up in rehab. I remember being kind of intimidated at first because he kind of put his foot down and was like, this is what's gonna happen. And I liked it because I needed someone to motivate me and keep me going to get back strong again. The doctor said after the treatment I would be able to walk again. I may not be able to run as I used to before, and the left side of my face was paralyzed, and the doctor said I may not get that back. I just kept setting goals to go towards, and my parents being there for me kept me going. And throughout the time I was in there, which was a month and a day up in rehab, I learned from crawling, like when you're a baby, to walking again. I just slowly had to build my strength back up. Bill would take me to what I call the tunnel of death because it was awful in a wheelchair. The record for the tunnel was 2 laps, so my goal was to do 3 laps to beat everyone else. By the 3rd time I tried it, I ended up doing 7 laps, which is 1 mile.
And she still is our record holder for that, so she was pumped. Little by little, Kim realized how much better she was getting and pushed herself to continue to improve. Kim started out on our weight machine being able to only lift maybe 10 or 15 pounds a couple of times before she was exhausted. But she was a woman who didn't want to quit.
Bill helped me build my arm strength, and then slowly could push myself up out of the wheelchair to start walking again. Started walking all by myself again and slowly jogging on my own. My goal was to run the Memorial Marathon in April. The doctor said I wouldn't be able to do it. So that was kind of a motivation for me to get through rehab and get going again, get back on my feet where I was before, if not better. Ended up running the Memorial Marathon and crossing the finish line. That was my goal. I wake up now every day just thankful for being able to spend time with my family and spend time running, going to the gym.
She's fantastic. She's smiling again, and her smile is even. She's running, she's working again. Her life is returning to what she considers to be more normal. And so far as one can tell by looking at her, her disease has cleared up and has gone away. So she's very different than she was when she came to us. She's much more self-assured and confident, but she's also mindful of what she's gone through. And I think that's changed her some and perhaps made her even stronger than she was before.
It definitely made me more of a stronger person. It was almost like a test, I think, because I learned a lot through it and I grew a lot from it.
Working here at St. Anthony, we are always reminded of the hospital's mission to reveal the healing presence of God. It is very much focused on how do we help this person in front of us gain their strength and their independence in order to return home.
I wake up every day just thankful that I'm not laying in a hospital bed. This set me on a course that has entirely changed my life to now inspire and motivate people. Like, I wouldn't have been able to go through all that without the support that I had, and I want to be there for all those other people now.